Walk on by, walk on by, make believe. If you don't see the tears, just let me be. All right, that is Dionne Warwick, one of my mother figure's favorite singers. When we look back at the experiences that we've had, we look at love in such a special way. Even when we've had heartbreak, even when we've grown through the process. Now, of course, when we're going through being heartbroken, it's not so much fun. We're looking at it, we're hurt, we're trying to get through each day, trying to make it through, and trying to overcome these feelings. But those emotions can sometimes open up to other things, creative ability. I remember breaking up with this guy once, and the poetry that flowed behind this breakup, all the writing that I was able to do. Our creative abilities come out of some of the most torturous experiences that we've had. Like I said, COVID happened, I learned how to paint. I didn't know that I knew how to paint. We are all gifted and talented in so many different ways. The problem comes in when we find ourselves envious of another person. And when we start becoming jealous or envious of another person, and we try to copy what they're doing, First of all, a lot of people don't realize the talents that they've had or that they have because they don't explore. Here's the thing. It's like that snowball. There's a snowball that somebody makes, okay? And it goes down that hill and it builds, and the snowball becomes a big ball that can, that can do some damage if it doesn't melt first, right? With the snow coming down or what have you. When we look at the effects that one small choice can make, that one small decision that you made that caused so much havoc, we need to figure out how we can walk on by that experience, get through that experience, learn from it, and maybe even teach it to someone else so that they don't have to worry about that same, confusion. When we're looking at even the song, she's talking about heartbreak when she tells the guy, walk on by, because I don't want to be bothered with you anymore. We all go through some form of heartbreak, whether it be family, friends, associates, someone says something that bothers you or something that really stays on your mind. We have to grow through all these different experiences that we're going through. If we don't go through it and we don't grow through it, what ends up happening is we have to keep that. And when you keep hurt feelings on your heart, on your mind, and you don't persevere through it, you got to carry it into another cycle. And life cycles are hard enough without you having to bring up more corrupt experiences, right? So when we look at each thing that we have to go through in life, be it heartbreak, be it hurt feelings, let us begin to really look at the process and grow from it. Because here's the problem. The problem is, let's say you become envious of a person and the person calls you out on it, and you decide you want to be combative and you want to get them back. And you can't figure out a way to get them back, because every way that you try to fight back at them, God is going to teach you a bigger lesson. There's a spider. This is a perfect example. I forgot about this one. There's a spider. And the spider spins a web and is trying to get to its location. But on its way to its location, it's also supposed to be taking these bugs out, eating the bugs, the insects. Now, the spider is not going to be taken out. God is not looking at the spider as doing anything wrong, because the spider is minding its own business. but it still has to eat. It still has to feed off of something. Now, you might say, well, the spider still killed something to eat, but how else would it survive? You see, the spider is trying to live its life while going through its own transitions. But it didn't go after someone, or like people do, go after someone who was innocent. The spider is merely trying to make its way through life, through eating and spinning those webs and getting to different destinations. You know, there's a guy who is siphoning other people's energy. And he's siphoning a specific woman's energy specifically because there's a detective that's been asking him questions about this woman. He's not seen, well, the woman has not seen him in years, but he's in the background trying to siphon her energy and trying to make her become homeless because he doesn't want her to be able to survive. He wants her to come back to him. So he figures if he does all these corrupt acts, she'll have no choice but to come back and beg. But what he doesn't realize is the woman that he's chosen to do this with cannot do that. Her pride wouldn't even allow her to do that. She would rather do something else than beg for his mercy. And not only that, she's already grown. She's already persevered. She's already gone through so many different cycles, and she's still going through cycles of healing. We don't know what the next person is going through. We don't realize that another person might be going through so much. But when you throw salt on a problem, you throw salt or try to hurt a person worse than what they're already going through, they're never going to see you as a cherished person. They're never going to look back at you and say, I should have come back, or I want to go back to that person. If anything, they've already learned that they can make it without you. So now that they've realized that they can make it without you, they're going to continue to soar higher. They're going to set those goals and make their way through what they need to go through. We have to begin the process of healing. And we cannot heal ourselves if we're hurting another individual. So it's important that we figure it out so that we can find out how God is really trying to bless us. Nobody's going to beg you to bless you, but God is trying to bless you, but you're looking at things in a different way. So if you're going to take that salt, make sure you're seasoning something, or make sure you're taking a salt bath, so at least you've given it where it needed to go. But try not to hurt the next individual, because hurting another individual is only going to land you in more pain. So let us remember that. Thank you so much for joining us where it is lovely being you. It's time for us to get to know ourselves and others through the love process. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful one.